people's house. Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus. Pull up to the gate, it's 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power through the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Yeah, Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus, powers in the air. Big Zeus, we knocking on the door. Big Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Yeah. Yeah, who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People or them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the rally outside, and the gates is locked. This power never divides. Sitting for the block, head busters make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap, I'ma bring it back. In the people's house, powers in the air. It's the people's house, we knocking on your door. It's the people's house, we wanna hear your soul.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all had a great weekend. Alright, let's get this show started. You know exactly what we came here to do. Let's get this show started. We don't got much time. Welcome.
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming. It's deja, I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, head of the class. You can tell that I made it, look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it.
This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous.
The algorithm turned me to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my blast.
Let's go.
And if they
Good morning, everyone. Sorry.
They don't give me plugs if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it.
Right.
Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited. Call me the master with a new whip.
Here it goes, here it goes.
I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Nice.
Shit was radical.
Really?
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh.
It's like deja vu.
That does it every time, right? Right?
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show once again. We are back in the Thunderdome. My oh my, how the time flies this past weekend. I hope you all honestly had a great weekend, time away from the app, you know, because you got to take care of yourself up here, all right? And so before we get back to doing what we all know we need to do to save this great country of ours, but before I get into that, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first stage is, well, because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down, all right? That's the first H. The second H is, it's because I'm humble. I mean, listen, if I get it wrong, I'll be the first one to issue an apology. I mean, because I actually think apologizing, it's a sign of strength. It's not a sign of weakness, all right? But here's the thing. Just because your feelings are hurt, it does not mean I owe you an apology. Most likely it means you need to sit your special behind down and listen to this special broadcast, right? I knew it. All right, and then we'll move on to the last and the final H, which we all know is honestly one of the most important H's. And if you violate this H in the kingdom, hell will be your portion. The last and final H is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Am I right, Queen Flea? Thank you. Thank you. Many of you know exactly why we are gathered here on this Monday morning at the beginning of the month of June, all right? We already did a number on the month of May, and we basically have Trump supporters in full retreat mode because they know the jig is up. And at this point, supporting Donald Trump blindly is only more proof that they are in a cult. But yeah, like I said, what we do is we hold these folks accountable for all of the hypocrisy, all of the lying, and all of the harm that these people have caused this great nation of ours during Donald Trump's reign. And I have to say it reign because ever since he came down that golden escalator, he's done a number to these MAGA minds. And it's quite unfortunate because you would sit there and you would see that these are grown people, grown adults, grown men, and they've allowed themselves to become vassals of transgression for guess who? This guy, Donald Trump. He is their dear leader, all right? And so what I'll say is this before I go any further. Do I have anybody out there in the audience that still supports Donald Trump, knowing all the things that he's done? I mean, this term that he's doing now, in the 4 months he's been in the office, I'm seeing Trump supporters and I'm hearing them saying, this isn't the guy I voted for. I don't know who this maniac is. And I'm sitting back going, oh, he's the one that we all were telling you was the criminal. This is the guy in the Batman movie Joker that wants to see the world burn. This is the guy that's lighting the money on fire. We all knew it. I don't know how you didn't know. And so now there has to be some sort of punishment for these people who continue to support Donald Trump. Even those of you who voted for Donald Trump, not the people that was their first time voting and, they were children when he was in the office the first time. I'll give them a pass. But for the adults who sat there and just went and voted for him all these times, 3 times, there has to be some sort of punishment. So what I'll say is this. If there are Trump supporters in my live right now, do me a huge favor. Leave this live right now and you go hang out with those fake TikTok hosts because they'll lie to you. You know who they are, Snuggie. And the Russian Bears, who, by the way, one of them, she said she won't be able to come here this morning and defend the big, beautiful bill because, she wanted to talk to me about it. And she said she had a vacation to go on. And so I said, okay, I'll let the people know. But first of all, that'll be a W for Zeus. Because if you ask me to come up here and you say, well, I want to debate you, Zeus, because you don't know anything. And I'm telling her, hey, the big, beautiful bill is terrible. Even Elon has said it. What else do I need to say? That's Elon. That's your guy. And all the Republicans are having cold feet about supporting it. Why would you want to get on TikTok and actually try to debate Big Zeus? All right. Well, Zeus, you're just a headline hoochie. You don't answer the question. I told you, I don't ever answer questions for these Trump supporters because, unless I feel like it, right? Because I know they don't care about facts. Right? MAGA doesn't care about facts, and I got proof of it later. So what I'll do is this. If you're a Trump supporter, you do not want to cry this morning, and you don't want me to ruin your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and everything in between, the Cheez-Its and the Diet Coke and stuff like that, leave right now because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right, so the doors to the Thunderdome have officially closed. And so if you're in here, you've entered at your own risk, and I take no accountability or responsibility for what happens because it goes either way. But what we're all trying to do is we're trying to make sure the truth gets out here. So we have a lot of territory to cover. We have a lot of dots to connect. And I will say, oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. That's the song a lot of the Latinos who voted for Trump were singing right before ICE came and did a number on them. Thank you, W. Zeus. Right now, if you notice, Latinos for Trump has gone radio silent. Did you notice that? Because, you know, they used to say, Zeus, will you please, Zeus, stop talking about mass deportations? Because you know what they used to call me? They said, Zeus, you're a race baiter. So you know what I did? I did a little bit of a test on them. I said, you know what? I'll probably go a couple of days, maybe even a week. I won't bring up the ICE raids, and I'm just going to sit back and watch them. And that's what I've been doing, because I don't think for a split second. Am I right, Kabira? Don't think for a split second I'm not keeping my eyes and ears onto the streets in terms of understanding what's going on in the Latinos for Trump community. And what we see, and I'm going to play a video in just a second, but what we see ICE doing, one thing is crystal clear. They have made it obvious to the whole world that they believe every single person who is of Hispanic descent is a criminal. Isn't that amazing? They thought, and this is why I have to do it. These Trump supporters who were Latinos for Trump, they said, oh no, Zeus, he's only going to go after the criminals, the bad ones, right? Remember, this is what they told us. And we just can't bring ourselves to support Kamala Harris because they just didn't want to do it. Why? I don't know. Maybe is it because she's a woman of color? They were confused about whether Kamala was black. That's funny. These people were confused. You got people looking at Kamala Harris and they go, I don't know if she's black or not. I just got to go vote for Donald Trump. And if you go back in history, and what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is remind MAGA, the ones who voted for Trump, especially the Latinos for Trump, this is what you could have had.
When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for.
You could have had that. That's Kamala Harris.
And
She's
we
black.
have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics driven by fear and division. We are done with that, and we are exhausted with it.
Hey, Michael, just listen up, bro. Listen up. You're going to learn something. All right?
And America is ready. America is ready
This is
for
Kamala
a
Harris.
fresh start. Ready for a new way forward,
Yeah.
where we see our fellow American not as an enemy,
Not as an
but
enemy.
as a neighbor.
Hey, Michael, did you have a problem with that? Did you have a problem with seeing your fellow American as a neighbor and not an enemy? Because this is what Kamala Harris was offering to the Latinos for Trump. This is what y'all could have had, but somewhere along the way you said, I deserve more, and you got what you got. She's black. Kamala's black.
We are ready for a president who knows that the true measure of a leader is not based on who you beat down, it is based on who you lift up.
Amen. That's Kamala Harris. Spreading love, not hate, by the way. This is love.
And Michigan, you know me. I am not afraid of tough fights.
No.
Evidently.
No, she wasn't. Thank you. That's why I
For
voted.
decades as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state, I won fights against the big banks that ripped off homeowners.
There-
I won fights against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans
Thank
and
you.
students. I won fights against predators who abused women, children, and seniors. I won fights.
She won those fights. Right? So that's Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen. One W for Kamala Harris. And so to the Latinos who voted for Donald Trump, this is why I say your days are numbered in this country. And at this point, I really want to feel sorry for you, but there has to be some sort of punishment, because you can't help but ask yourself, how could you overlook this information about Trump? You had it. How could you let stuff like this slide?
Open borders.
Remember this?
With people pouring
Remember when he
in,
said this?
some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble. Could be trouble.
How would you go and willingly vote for a person that talks like this, MAGA? The Latinos, especially you, because I haven't talked about you in a while, but I'm back. Why would you go do it? Why? You think I'm a divider in chief, alter ego? Oh, no. No, no, no. I am simply the voice crying out in the wild, like, in the Bible, John the Baptist. I'm bringing you the truth. And what really got to me, what really has me this morning, ladies and gentlemen, just really, really, really upset. Honestly, this story that I just heard this morning, I said, you can't make this stuff up. In 2025, the year of our Lord, we have stories like this happening. An 18-year-old Massachusetts high school student detained by ICE, alter ego. I want to honestly know what you think of this story, all right? Because enough is enough, all right? Hold on.
Story has drawn the attention and outrage of state leaders who will be addressing this latest ICE arrest here in the Commonwealth later this morning. Now, yesterday here in Milford, we saw hundreds of people rallying in support for the release of Marcelo Gomes. Family and friends tell us that ICE detained this 18-year-old on Saturday while he was on his way to volleyball practice. Yago Sampaio says he was in the car with Gomes when agents approached. The 17-year-old says he was not detained because he is underage.
By the time I had turned back around and I was done talking to my ICE agent, he was already in handcuffs and being put into the back of a car, which was devastating, but it was honestly like a wake-up call for me in that moment that there was no easy way of kind of getting out of this.
Now, the Gomes family says Marcelo immigrated to Milford from Brazil when he was 5 years old. He was supposed to play in the high school band at graduation yesterday. Governor Maura Healey calls his arrest disturbing, saying in part, "I'm demanding that ICE provide immediate information about why he was arrested, where he is, and how his due process is being protected."
Sickening.
It's unclear where Marcelo Gomes is this morning. We have reached out to ICE, but so far have yet to receive any information. Reporting live in Milford, Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to the people out there, you think I'm the divider-in-chief, alter ego? You're wrong.
There were two major developments over the...
You're wrong. What's going on right now is Americans are being terrorized by ICE. And in some cases, I saw what happened in San Diego. Americans are standing up and resisting ICE. And what we have right now, ladies and gentlemen, is, as far as I'm concerned, judgment is upon this nation, and it's because of the people that support Donald Trump. They've turned their backs on the good Lord, and now they're worshiping Donald Trump. So what I'll do is we'll warm up the lake of fire first round of the day for all of you who continue. Don't blame Blaga, because I got something for them. This is for the Latinos for Trump who are watching their brothers and sisters out there, especially the children, the women and the children, be treated inhumanely. They're treating them worse than they would treat a stray dog. You know, a stray dog, you go pick a stray dog up and take them home. But the way they're turning people in this country into animals and stuff like that is unbelievable and evil. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send them where they belong. Straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
That last guest we had on the show on Friday, he got up here and he was trying to bring that, oh yeah, I'm tough on immigrations and I'm a Christian. But I thought about it over the weekend and I said to all the people who believe that these people should be rounded up, thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, because I seen a video this weekend, a woman, she just became unglued. It was unbelievable how these men were treating this woman. And I'll have these same MAGA men on TikTok coming after me. I was in a live yesterday, Dame's live, and I was just having some banter back and forth between one of his, people. And one of the MAGA men had the audacity to say, "Oh, you strong enough to come after a woman. Why don't you come after me?" And I said, "You know what? I rebuke you," and sent his behind straight to hell, W. Zeus, because I know you don't care about women. I know you don't care about women when you're sitting here watching women and children being tossed in the back of these paddy wagons simply because they are in fear of their life and they're looking for relief and they come to the United States. That's all this is about. You're not getting the bad criminals out of here. You're getting women and children. How weak is that? To you MAGA men who sit on this app and continue to support Donald Trump going around here terrorizing women and children. Shame on you. But you know what, W. Zeus, because they know they're wrong and they know that they're going to hell. They know they're on their way to hell. That's why shows like this is very important. That's why I do the Lake of Fire, because somebody has to remind these folks that their souls are truly, truly black and that they are on the line. Now let's move on to some other issues that came up. All right. And I just got to address this because, it happened on Friday. Their dear leader, Donald J. Trump, and Elon, they've parted ways. But before they did, they put on one heck of a goodbye party for the world, didn't they? And I want to start it out by the fact that Donald Trump, as you can see, this is the laptop. This isn't Hunter Biden's laptop. It's not it's not Hunter Biden's laptop. But I just found it hilarious that at the beginning of Elon's farewell, party, he busts this laptop out and he lets it play this clip of supposedly wages have gone up. This is the new MAGA talking point. I guess they think wages have gone up and people are now, I guess, living the good life. And so he puts this laptop up and he just hits play and you can just see this smirk on his face that Donald seems to be very, very proud of himself. Listen to this.
That is almost...
Hold on. He's proud of himself.
You don't mind, numbers have just come out which are rather extraordinary, and I thought I'd play a tape of one of the people who I've respected over the years.
So he says, play a tape. Sir, this is a laptop. Nobody uses tapes. See, this is the cognitive thing that I'm talking about, Mac. He doesn't know what year he's in. So I really do believe that he believes he's in 1985 or something. Did you hear him say play the tape? Let me go ahead and do that again. Let me go ahead and get y'all this.
Rather extraordinary, and I thought I'd play a tape of one of the people who I've respected over the years, from Joe Kiernan and Rick Santelli. This just came out, and we'll just play that for a second.
Personal income is up 0.8%. That is almost triple the expectations. Yeah, I'll tell you that the income numbers, really, for the first 4 months of the year, they're stellar. They're really stellar. I mean, I could go back and look at the first 4 months of many different years. Really very strong numbers, and you're right. This administration is criticized for just about everything under the sun. I've never, ever in my lifetime had glimpses into the politics of an administration in the form of transparency like this one. Why don't we be, give credit where credit is due. Income really shooting up.
Rick, I also thought everybody was going to get one last order of imports that were going to be tariffed, and they were loading up on things. How the hell they already fix the trade, or not fix it, but to cut it in half? That's crazy. So there wasn't a lot of front loading of things that they needed before the tariffs hit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it really does call into question some of the conventional wisdoms. And, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next month when we get this number, or we see some of the other numbers like current account, see how they fared. Because I don't know, I've been watching these numbers a long time. I don't think I've ever seen the trade deficit cut in half in 1 month.
Not bad. Not bad.
Come on, guys.
Okay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's Donald Trump trying to brag that he's basically fixed the economy and that there's no issues. As a matter of fact, I think at one point we heard him say something along the lines that the trade deficit has been cut in half. Is that true, ladies and gentlemen? Is the economy fixed? And does anyone out there that supports Donald Trump, would you be willing to get in the box and tell us how much your wages went up? Because I would love to know if there's any truth to this. Just like I would love to know if there's anybody out there that could actually produce any evidence that gas is $1.98 somewhere in the United States. See, ladies and gentlemen, what Donald Trump is very, very good at he's good at convincing people that could clearly see that the world is on fire, that it's not on fire, or somehow that the fire is actually part of the healing process, right? And so what I'll do is this. For those of you who are still in the spell of Donald Trump, the demon is still in control of you, I just want you to do this. Hold on. All right, just keep believing in Donald Trump, because I promise you, by the time you wake up, it's going to be too late. And in the meantime and in between time, enjoy your free first class trip. Where? Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA Dayton.
All right, but let's get into some of the stuff that him and Elon did during this interview. All right, we don't got all day to do it, but this is stuff that I think the American people should honestly know. He goes on a rant and starts reading out reading off all the cuts that Elon made to the government that supposedly totaled $2 trillion. Believe it or not, this, according to him, this all totals $2 trillion. All right.
Contracts, and many contracts, Elon, are right now being looked at, and it may be 6 months, it may be almost a year in some cases. We're going through procedures, we're going through courts, and we'll remember you as we announce billions of dollars of extra waste, fraud, and abuse. And just as an example, Doge canceled $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. $101 million, and that was just a small section of the department.
Is 101 the same thing as 2 trillion? And I don't even think his number of 101 is accurate, but is 101 million? Crumbs, right? You all get it. But you know what's so funny is his Trump supporters, especially the ones on this app, they will get that talking point and host a live and argue you to death that Donald Trump actually and him and Elon actually did this. They'll argue it. They'll argue you to death and say that this is actually happening, even though it never happened.
Education, $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City.
So 101 plus 59 million. I mean, we're real close to $1 trillion, right? Wow.
And the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma.
And these are all lies, by the way.
Burma. $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. I can say it's $2 billion to Stacey Abrams and her environmental movement. There was $100 in the account, and all of a sudden they found $2 billion in the account. And I assume that's being looked at. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
wow.
I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental cause. $20 billion.
He doesn't
not
even
20
know.
million, a lot. Not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about. Nobody's been able to find it. $8 million for making mice transgender. So they spent $8 million on making mice transgender. And those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that. But
he could sit there all day and read things just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, is there a such thing as $20 million going to make mice transgender? Honestly, if anyone believes this, you might as well believe in the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, and you know what? Why not throw Peter Pan right in there? Ladies and gentlemen, what Donald Trump does, and he does a great job of doing it, is he proves to us just how poorly educated his supporters are, because nobody with a brain actually believes the numbers he's reading. Total number one, 2 trillion. But we also know that he has never ever showed any proof of any of this being true. It's just him getting a notebook and reading stuff out, and his supporters, they fall for it every time, hook, line, and sinker. So what we'll do is this: let's warm up the lake of fire for the Trump supporters that are still out here believing Elon did something other than harmed you. All right. And you believe it because Donald Trump tells you to believe it, and you don't look at the facts. Do me a huge favor and go straight to hell. Oh, I know what I gotta do.
Silence.
Oh, I know what I gotta do. I forgot about this. I gotta do this though. You know how MAGA was running around here and trying to say Obama was, kicking it with Diddy? Because that was the thing. Diddy, Obama, Diddy, and they'll never admit Trump was the one that actually hanging out with Diddy and Epstein. Well, I got to ask MAGA, how do you feel about the fact that Donald Trump is he's open to pardoning Diddy? Yeah. So now we get to also put Epstein and Diddy with Donald Trump. And going forward, you'll never be able to say Obama and Diddy. Am I right? Oh, dopamine. Thank you. Nice to see you.
And they're wasting a lot of money if they're going to
Watch
continue
this.
with that nonsense.
Let's get the
And
Diddy
this
thing.
is a little bit more of a page 6 question, but back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning?
So he said, now, this is the part you got to keep in mind. He said, back in 2016, you said Diddy was a good friend of yours. And did Donald Trump actually confirm that by saying, yeah, that's true? Listen up, MAGA. You can never put Diddy on Obama. You got to put him on Trump.
Since found himself in some very serious legal trouble. The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking.
Just say no, Trump.
First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know, he didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't, it's not a popularity contest.
Really?
So I don't know, I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
You hear that, MAGA? You hear that? I mean, and you gotta expect it out of him, right? I mean, this is a guy who we've all looked at the court cases, right? What happened with E. Jean Carroll? You saw what happened. Birds of a feather, what? Flock together? Do we have any Christians out there? Any so-called MAGA Christians out there that want to come up here and explain why it's okay for their dear leader to pardon Diddy? I would love to actually hear that angle. I mean, you know, because maybe I'm overlooking something. Any Trump supporters want to come up here and explain to Big Zeus and everyone else why their dear leader, you know, should go ahead and proceed with pardoning P. Diddy, the diddler, as y'all like to call him, right? You remember I had a Christian up here Friday, but you see what happens? This is, and let this be a lesson. To every single person in the chat, we all know there's Trump supporters watching this show and listening. Have you noticed how quiet they've been since they won the election in terms of just processing the hell and destruction that Donald Trump continues to rain up on them? They can't blame Joe Biden. They're trying to blame Joe Biden. Oh, his age. That's the biggest scandal. I could care less about Joe Biden's age. I knew Joe Biden was an old man when I cast my vote for him. I said I'm willing to take on all of that than to deal with this guy, Donald Trump. But he does remind me of Donald Duck in a little bit of a way, doesn't he? Actually, yeah, he does. They're quiet right now because they know they're screwed. They have no other choice but to continue to keep their hands on this guy, right? On his rear end. They keep their hands on his hip. And they're just saying, you lead, I follow. And he's dancing and shaking it. And they're on their way. Where? Straight to hell. So ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire once again. To all the Trump supporters who continue. And it's actually kind of funny now. They're dancing with Trump on their way to hell, and they're looking at us, asking us, don't you want to join us? Don't you want to come have fun? Absolutely not. May you rest in hell.
Silence!
You know what? They don't like it when I do this, but I keep doing it.
You know, I got something to say.
You know, I keep doing it, and then I'll go to the box, ladies and gentlemen. There's been some information that has came out about a MAGA influencer. Let me see if I can get her name right. What is her name? Gabriella, what is her name? Yeah, okay. Gabriella Cuccia. Okay, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but you know, obviously seems like she could be one of these Latinos for Trump. So here's what's going on with her, and you can go fact check this. It says MAGA outlets, Pentagon correspondent criticized Pete Kegsbreth, and guess what happened to her? She was fired. She was fired. Now, you got to understand, this is how she talked, all right? This is how somebody this is a MAGA reporter, all right? And, you know, leading last year while Biden was president, she put up a post on, this is just one of her posts, but it says, if one of us falls, we all fall. And this is in reference to the J6ers, all right? We won't play the whole thing, but you'll get an idea of how MAGA she was.
But I am so disappointed in the conservative party, this new age conservatism where everyone wants to be an influencer and post crap on the internet.
Yeah.
When everyone always wants to say hashtag MAGA or I'm a real patriot. Meanwhile, J6 political prisoners, one of them passed away on Father's Day from stage 4 cancer and has been in the gulag since August of 2023 and got cancer and then was released after the diagnosis came out and then died basically a month after the fact and spent the last of his days in and out of the hospital. And not one conservative person, one of these influencers, has posted about it or cared to share the information.
Right.
You know, and I've done tons of videos where I always say, follow the money, or I'm talking about these bail funds all across the country from the left. Okay, they at least put their money where their mouth is. Meanwhile, we all just capitalize on MAGA merch and being an influencer or whatever it may be, instead of just donating proceeds to maybe a bail fund for these J6ers.
So she was very sympathetic to the J6ers. And so this is why I say it's obvious she's MAGA. And anybody, you know, there's people who sometimes say they're not, but they say, you know, they are. If you're sympathetic to the J6ers, you're MAGA. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're MAGA. But here's what happened to her, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll get straight to judgment, all right? So she turned around and she criticized Pete Kegsbreth, and she got some very, very terrible news.
Why do 60% of journalists avoid criticizing government officials? Because sometimes it costs them their jobs. Gabrielle Kucha, a fervent advocate of the MAGA movement and chief Pentagon correspondent for One American News, was recently fired. Why? Because she dared to critique Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's leadership on her personal Substack. Kucha accused Hegseth of stifling media access to the Pentagon. After a signal scandal involving a leaked military strike plan, Hegseth allegedly clamped down on staff journalist communication. Kucha felt this undermined press freedom, unlike the more transparent White House approach. Despite her loyalty to MAGA, Kucha aimed to spotlight internal issues she believed were damaging the movement. She urged a return to its 2015 roots, questioning the government instead of blind allegiance. Love your country, not your government, she pleaded. Her dismissal has sparked a debate on press freedom within political movements.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So Kucha has been fired, all right? W. Zeus, another victory for us. And what we'll do is we'll get to judgment. Because the Trump supporters, they don't understand it, but they are their own worst enemies. Their destruction will be at the hands of their dear leader. And guess what? I'm here to watch it. So what we'll do is this. We'll warm up that lake of fire one more time. To all the Trump supporters who continue to support Donald Trump in his evil and in his wickedness, do us all a huge, huge favor. Go to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Dayton.
W. Zeus. That's what you call cooking and booking, all right? It doesn't take long to debunk these Trump supporters. Let's go to the audience real quick. We don't got much time. Are there any Trump supporters out there that are brave enough to try to get in the box and defend their dear leader? Go ahead and send me a guest request, and what I'll do is I'll bring you right on up here, and maybe we can just keep it capped at about 5 minutes, right? Because you know what I'm realizing is y'all don't really want to deal with facts. Y'all don't want to really deal with reality. What you want to do is get up here and just have a fit. You want to have a conniption, and you want to have an audience to your little pity parties that you're dealing with out there. And I don't blame you, but I'm not the right one to have an audience with, because I haven't arrived at a place where I'm able to deal with it in I would say a way that's going to be healthy for you, right? Because what you've done to this great country of ours, MAGA, it's unforgivable. Like I said earlier, I can't have a lot of room for forgiveness when I know that these people, they've attacked our capital, right, on January 6th, even though Trump is sending them money in some cases and issuing pardons and things like that. He might forgive you, but I don't, W. Zeus. What you did on January 6th, MAGA, it's unforgivable. I would argue it would be equivalent to a domestic tea attack, so and you see this, I do want to acknowledge that there were genuine victims yesterday out in Boulder, Colorado. That what happened there, unacceptable, a pure act of evil as far as I'm concerned. But what really gets me going is when I see these people on the right try to say that these people that do stuff like that, they get on all their teas. And I'm sitting here going, where was that energy on January 6th? W. Zeus, what would you call it on January 6th when you had people dressed to the T in Trump gear? I call it paraphernalia. You had grown men cramming themselves in the back of U-Hauls, okay, showing up to the Capitol, bringing the gallows to unalive the vice president based on a big lie. That was a tea attack. And y'all will sit up here and act like, that was weaponization of the federal government. No, it wasn't. It was what I just said, tea attack, W. Zeus, and you won't say anything about it. So go ahead, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter, and I'll bring you right on up here. Conservative D, no, it wasn't, all right? No, it wasn't. Let's see. Who do we got first, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, who do we got? Spider Monkey, good morning, how are you? Good morning, Spider Monkey, how are you? Hello? Spider Monkey, can you hear me? I can't hear you, Spider Monkey. Hey, Spider Monkey, you might want to get that checked out. Yeah, someone said Starlink. All right. Spider Monkey, is that a Trump supporter or not? Is Spider Monkey a Trump supporter? All right, put a 1 in the chat or send me a guest request if you are a Trump supporter, and I will bring you right on up here. All right. Skateboarding. Good morning, Jesse. How are you? Jesse, are you there? Jesse Williams, are you there? Maybe you accidentally sent Big Zeus a guest request. All right, we'll move it along. All right, let's move it along. Who do we have? Good morning, G-Man. How are you doing, brother? Nice to see you.
It's good to see you, man.
Yes.
Something wrong. Did you receive that? DM you that message I received here from our mutuals was concerning. See, I try to come in. You talk about that Latino for Trump.
I haven't seen it yet. But if you don't, is it something you can talk about on TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
It's to do with ICE. Some of the mutuals DM me because I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah, I'm part of the Latino community. Long story short, that person was concerned by my welfare because I'm gonna let you know. ICE is recruiting certain parts in Columbus, Georgia. Here in Columbus, Georgia,
wow.
Recruiting to transport detainees, and told me that sheriff said right after that I share immediately to my mutuals, including you. I know you got a busy schedule, Zeus. You're always you walk and talk, so I try to share you. Other creators who got bigger platform than myself.
Yeah,
they recruiting here certain places. Mostly the subdivision here in Columbus, Georgia. I'm surprised the media didn't find out. Of course, that's not new. They censorship a lot of stuff. A lot of people not aware. That's not new.
Right.
But for this person who sent me DM me, I appreciate that you're concerned. I still gonna be defiant. I still gonna be what hell I'm gonna be. I'm the G-man.
Amen.
I'm a veteran too, cause I put my body and my life to this country. Damn it, I don't want these fascists. Some of the guns try to take me. Oh hell no.
Yeah.
So, I see the latest videos that people already they do it and stitch on it. See it and share it and spread the message. I already spread a message to other applications besides TikTok. Do that as well because behind the scenes, ICE is doing recruiting some people trying for detainees. It's a little bit too close to comfort where I'm at, bro.
Yeah, because it's real. What's happening is, and I've seen so many videos of what ICE is doing. Isn't it heartbreaking that they said they were going to go after the bad guys, the ones that they said were actually doing very bad crimes. But guess who they're going out after? They're making it a point to say, we don't care if you're a woman and we don't care if you're a child. We will treat you like you're worse than a dog.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that. It's frustrating me, and I'm gonna say it for educational purposes necessary.
Yeah,
because I see that as growing up, it could push two people so far they had nothing to lose. I'm gonna keep it for
you're keeping it A1. You're keeping it 100. Yeah.
I try to be respectful because I'm your guest in your house, Zeus.
Thank
you. Come
you.
to my life, people are a little bit more raw, but since I'm a guest of my man, I gotta keep it clean.
Yeah.
See, people had nothing to lose to continue what they're doing, bro. They keep what they're freaking doing. Some people say, why need to be law-abiding? They're doing all lawful things. Not only that, they went to some congressman arresting a staff member with no warrant, nothing for termination. Yes, Nadler, thank you. For termination. For termination.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell people, you push people so far. And I see this as a child during the late 60s and 70s. You push people put on order.
Yeah.
That's the Young Lords was founded, Black Panthers Foundation, and all this is it's just going to be all over again. People don't know the history.
Yeah.
And for Latinos, for Trump, how did it feel? You get screwed without no Vaseline.
Ooh.
Or no cable.
Because we have people like Asler. You know of him. He checks all the boxes in terms of being a person in this country that's vulnerable to ICE. He checks them all, even from Venezuela. And yet he still is hell bent on his own destruction. Isn't that alarming, to say the least?
I'm gonna say this to ASS. I call another name for him. Your sellout, your coconut. I'm gonna let you know that you just hope. Because this is what they do with your fellow Trump supporters. Just mind your business driving. If you make a wrong turn to a traffic violation, they get you. Certain cities like New York, like the mayor of New York City, trying to make NYPD to do the job of ICE. Same thing in the state of Florida too.
Yeah.
The state troopers of Florida too.
Yeah.
If you go out, that's why I'm not going to Florida. I'm Puerto Rican. Yes, I'm a citizen for these races. Some of the guns.
Yeah.
They don't care. They classify us the same.
Yeah.
But just be defiant, be belligerent. Don't put no hold on, because I'm gonna say that, this is the militant side of me. I'm not the mile New York Rican here in Georgia over 40 years, but I got my limitations. Don't put on no nonsense, people. But don't be surprised. People's gonna respond with nothing to lose. Lord, I hope we don't nothing to go to that route, but I'll be not surprised, because look what happened during she pushed the people, African Americans, so on, during the civil rights era. And Malcolm X came up, and so on. Black Panthers came up, and they had enough with enough.
Yep.
If you don't know your history, look it up.
You're bound. Tell them.
But Zeus, I know you had limited time. I like the other people, other creators come on the platform.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say this, because you creators like yourself, even though you're more left-leaning than I do, I'm an independent registered voter. But thanks to you, because of you, people like you, that I had somebody concerned my well-being, DM me around late afternoon Sunday, told me what's going on here in Columbus, Georgia. Be careful out there, people.
Yeah.
Be belligerent.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
All right. WG.
Thank you for your time, my man. You're having a marvelous Monday, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. And I'm going to tell not just the Latinos. And since I live in Georgia, these people that vote for Trump, they don't talk no politics to me. Matter of fact, they don't know no eye contact, me, Zeus. They don't like no eye contact. You know what? You want to know why? I'm going to keep it slow, because this New York Rican still got the New York in me. Because they know they effed up. They effed up, but they not got too much pride and ego to want they're wrong. At the gym, at the spot, at my job. They don't talk no politics towards me. But they know they effed up, because they're feeling the effects some of it is right now. And it's going to get worse. This is the start of hurricane season. Lord, and be prepared.
Yep.
This is what happened.
They messed up.
To what happened in Asheville, North Carolina last year.
Yeah.
Remember that there's two creators are talking about Biden administration?
Yeah.
Why didn't they say crap about
The tornadoes are doing a number, and this is why I'm with you, G-Man. They can't say anything. Remember, after the election, they were all happy, smiling from ear to ear, and now they can't say a word because they know they done messed up, like you said, bro. Wow.
I mean, I messed up. I got to keep it clean because I live a bit more.
You doing? Yeah. I get it.
I do my best. Because I'm still got the a blue card.
Yeah.
The New York in me, but still, Zeus, keep what you're doing. The people that thanks to him that follow me, that give me that message.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that because I was not aware until you told me the certain locations. Those are the subdivision luxury apartments. They're easy to access to go to the I-81 to deport to go to Lumpkin, Georgia. Yeah, they want to ship them to Lumpkin, Georgia.
Yeah.
So be careful out there, people. Especially your Latino communities around my areas, Columbus, Georgia, other areas as well.
All righty, then.
Zeus, thank you your time. I know you're busy, man. Thank you for honoring me on your live because I got a busy schedule too.
Yeah, we all do.
Everybody stay safe, stay strong. There's two models, life too short. Hey, please don't put on no nonsense. That's all I have to
say. Amen, WG, man. What we're dealing with right now is it's obvious to those of us who are free thinkers that there's no defense for what Donald Trump and his administration continue to do to innocent people. I mean, before you start looking at a person and questioning where they're from, shouldn't you just honestly treat them like a good person would treat another good person? I mean, what we're seeing right now is a lot of you aren't really that good, all right? So what we'll do is we'll help you get to the bottom of it. Let's bring up our next guest. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter. All right, or just send a guest request, and what I'll do is I'll try to bring you right on up here. And somebody said bring Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man MAGA? Spider-Man, send me a guest request. All right, it doesn't take long. All right, I think I saw you somewhere say that you were in a bad area. Why don't you come right on back up here and we'll get this done, taken care of, and then you can get back to whatever you're doing. All right, because I want to hear from the people who are actually the real victims outside of the ones we already know are victims. But the real victims at this point, if you want to call them victim, are the people who support Donald Trump. Yeah, the ones that they thought that Donald Trump was going to actually help them, and now they're realizing, oh, I've actually dug a grave for myself, and I'm about to throw myself in it. All right, let's see. Who do we got next? Ronaldo. Ronaldo, good morning. How are you? Ronaldo, are you there? Ronaldo, are you there? I guess Ronaldo is eating breakfast and watching Zeus. All right, that's another W, Zeus. It's easy to do. Oh, you're sorry. I got it. All right, fair enough. And you were nice about it. All right. Let's see. Who else do we have? Put a 1 in the chat. Where are the Trump supporters at? You know they're out there. I see them. Every Latino who voted for Trump, stay safe, rest. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see, where are we at? Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter or you are sympathetic to the Trump movement, the MAGA movement. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, they don't want to come up here. They don't, which is okay. What we'll do is we'll keep the show moving, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep it moving because what are you going to get up here and brag about? We don't see the cheap gas. Right? We don't see any benefits of the Trump administration. Good morning, Attacking. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. It seems like it's a light day in the office this morning, to be quite honest. It seems like MAGA is in there. They're starting to wake up and realize things aren't going well for them.
No, Zeus. You're giving too much credit. So as I was listening to you, I was listening to an actress from Canada.
A what?
An actress from Canada.
Okay.
And she came to renew her work visa for America, right?
Yeah.
And she went down to Mexico where it all started. She went there, I guess. ICE held her for 12 days. A person who is not a criminal. People telling her, "Oh, this isn't your fault. We have to do this and do this." Blah blah blah. So I'm going to play her story on my. I'm going to post her video on my page, on this page.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. She was moved to 3 different prisons. Slept on a cold floor with no blanket. The food, she said, of course, was disgusting. In a cell with at one time, I guess, with 100 women, and
This
they
is a woman, right? So this is the people they claim they were trying to protect.
a white Canadian woman, an actress, a non-criminal. Again, coming to do the correct thing is re-upping their work visas, doing the process that the people want to have done properly.
Yeah.
How dare somebody do something properly now? Let's arrest the people who are doing it properly because we have them here and we'll get the numbers up for Donald J. Trump.
Right.
So we'll arrest everybody, whether you're 18 years old, just in high school, going to your volleyball game, or a 22-year-old makeup artist applying legally for asylum. Take him, who's not a criminal, or let's say taking a child out who needs cancer treatment. And the only place they can get it is in the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Christ-like thing to do, in your opinion, or no?
Oh, yeah. Christ-like. Listening to people say that they're Bible thumpers. I guess they haven't read the entire Bible, where the part where God lays out who you shouldn't be following in Antichrist. Giving the signs of what you should not be following. Telling the signs of them, gluttony and pride and sloth and all these things that, or the Messiah. They claim they're the Messiah. What did Donald Trump say on the lawn of the White House? I am the chosen one. Yeah.
These are some hypocrites out here. You got them. You got them dead to rights.
It's getting ridiculous. And then you have Mike Johnson on a news show saying this bill is not going to raise the debt. It's not going to add to the debt. While you have Ron Johnson coming out saying it's going to add $20 trillion to the national debt. Who do you believe? Trump supporters? The people you like? The ones that say what you like to hear? Mike Johnson, the tax, we're not cutting Medicaid. But then you have Josh Hawley saying, we can't cut Medicaid. And then you have another Republican saying, we need to cut more from Medicaid. So which one is it? Too much? Not enough? Not at all.
All of the above.
What story are you guys going to start believing? Because you don't want to believe the documents. You don't want to believe what's put in front of your face. You only want to believe what Donald Trump says out of his mouth. Oh, we've saved $2 trillion with Doge. Really? Have they given us any specific line items where they're saving any money?
I have not seen that at all. As a matter of fact, I have concerns about that so-called big, beautiful bill, because if you say it like that, does that seem like more government or does that seem like less government?
More government.
Zeus, W attacking, because I was arguing with the Russian bears, and their claim is they love less government, but they support the big, beautiful bill. And what you just said right there, you just basically made it real clear to them. You can't have it both ways, and you got to pick and you got to choose. Okay, and they obviously, I don't think they've read it at all. They're just sitting there making stuff up and thinking it sounds good, but it doesn't make any sense. Like Tara said, W Tara.
I really do hate people who say that they don't lie and they proceed to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, what their approach is, if I believe it's true, I'm not lying. Donald Trump's line, well, the election wasn't stolen. Well, I believe it is, so I believe it is, and so I'm not lying when I say it is. Because
that's something.
Ron Johnson's right on my screen right now talking to that Maria Bortonova, whatever her name is, saying, yeah, it's going to raise people What do you need? How hard do you have to be slapped in the face? I mean, seriously. I mean, you guys have covered for Trump at every criminal, unethical, immoral crossing. You do it all the gosh darn time. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The thing is this. You want Zeus to come to your broadcast, but when he starts talking, you overtalk him.
Mm-hmm.
You won't come to my broadcast and go one-on-one with me because you can't handle it. Like, my mods won't kick you out. But you ain't got anything, Janae. Yeah, I'm calling you out.
Uh-oh.
You skank.
Oh. That was not nice attacking. That wasn't nice.
Yeah, well, I'll slap me later.
You'll slap yourself? Wow, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I'll
Okay, because there has to be a punishment. So I would love you to do that and show us you doing it, and then we'll be good.
But the thing is this. When you keep on covering for all the criminal activity from the Qatar jet, now all of a sudden Qatar's saying, we didn't come to you, you came to us, and we want a memo saying this. Now they won't say anything about it. You know, these people who say that people are getting their due process when they're not getting their due process.
Right.
We have to get rid of people who are bad. When they're removing people who are doing the legal thing, people who are bad. When they're removing people who are doing the legal thing. Make up your god darn mind. Which is it? Now the thing is this.
Yeah.
I'm not upset and I'm not angry. I'm just raising my voice to get it through your thick effing skull.
I was about to hit the button, but you got yourself.
Well, I'm in your broadcast, not mine.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
The thing
Fair
is this.
Yeah.
You guys do nothing but lie. When you call us a liar, really?
Yeah.
Really? You guys, you on that side, Danja and the two Russian bears and all these other people and Rocco who don't know anything about the Constitution of the United States and due process and wanting to have a birthright citizenship taken away.
Was Melania born in the United States?
Melania was not born in the United
Oh, see, okay, I just thought I'd put that out there. W Zeus. Because you know what I'm trying to do when I said that question.
And by the way, for you people who say Melania is classy, she posed unclothed in adult magazines, rubbing her coochie up against other women coochies.
Oh, okay. I never saw that. I never saw that, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't confirm.
I did.
My eyes, my ears.
For having her posed unclothed, and you call Michelle Obama the horrible things that you call Michelle.
Now that
Obama?
gets me going. When you say about Michelle Obama, that does get me going because they shouldn't say that.
Exactly. And the thing is this. Melania Trump lied that she graduated from college. She didn't graduate from college. Yeah, she doesn't have a diploma. She doesn't have a degree.
Really?
Yes. That's been known for years. You didn't know that?
No. I mean, I'm going to be honest. If a person lies to you over 30,000 times attacking, isn't it going to be hard to keep track of them?
Well, yeah, Melania Trump lied way back when. She didn't graduate college. She dropped out of college.
Wow.
We've known this for years.
Wow. I mean, it's probably why she took.
She's not a superstar. She's never been a superstar or supermodel. You can pull up the top 100 supermodels in history.
Yeah.
Her name's not even close to it. So quit giving her this gravitas, this podium. She doesn't speak good English. If she was on the streets and you didn't know who she was, you tell her, get your butt back to your country. Get out of America. We speak American here. That's what you'd say to her.
MAGA talks like that, but we don't talk like that. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we have a little more. We have a lot more pride and dignity, in terms of how we carry ourselves. But MAGA, they wouldn't do so.
And by the way, what is wrong with people in the LGBTQ community for you to hate them so much?
Well, you know what I think it is? You always got to watch the people who have a big issue with a particular issue. You never know what the issue is because 9 times out of 10, they tend to be the ones doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. They like to try to keep it between them and whoever they're doing it with, and then they don't want to be outed. And so it's all, to me, it's all disguise. It's all covered. It's all for show.
I mean,
I don't buy it.
They're American citizens, and they should serve
In the closet, yeah.
They should serve our military if they want to serve our military. They should have the right. They're American citizens. If they want to risk their life to protect us, isn't that a good patriotic?
It is. That's what we want. We want people who love this country and want to, put their life down for a good cause. All right, but we don't want to turn around and turn these people into enemies when they don't need to be. I mean, that's common sense, right?
And by the way,
yeah,
if Donald Trump wants to fight these toy, medical things, the things coming across the border.
Yeah.
Then why does he have a guy who's stoned out of his mind standing in the Oval Office making all these faces? The dude was fiending. The dude was high. Why does he have an addicted person in the White House? And why isn't he wearing a suit?
That's a good question. I'm assuming you're talking about Elon.
Exactly.
Nasty.
Exactly. So I'm going to drop. I'm done
All right.
with my rant.
A
But
kite.
I'm going to put up that the Canadian actress's video on my page if anybody want to watch it and stuff.
All
like
right.
that.
All right. Fair enough. W attacking.
Yeah.
Happy Monday. So as you all can see, we are doing an excellent job keeping the MAGA demons at bay. And I do see some of them are triggered in my audience. PSA announcement.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
There you go. There you go. All right. Are there any Trump supporters out there that want to come up here and defend their dear leader? I would love to hear from you this morning. I mean, you have so much going in your direction. Why not get up here and just put it all out there and tell the world why you love your dear leader? All right, who do we got, ladies and gentlemen? Who do we got? Let's see. Who do we got? Oh my goodness. Let's go. Who do we got? Good morning, Takesha. How are you doing?
I'm trying to get better, Zeus. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm enjoying myself. I feel like, the tides are slowly starting to recede a little bit. And a lot of these people out here, it's starting to sink in. They don't want to come up, but they see it. They feel it.
Listen, Zeus. I'm gonna try to make this quick because my bronchitis been acting up.
Oh, no.
I be all right in the daytime, but at night my throat get to hurt and I get hoarse and I be coughing. I just been going through for about a week and a half. But
Okay, you ain't doing nothing the Lord said you shouldn't be doing at night because that sounded a little.
Zeus, you need to be sure. I
I don't know what you're doing at night,
what
but that sounds a little
what I'm supposed to do?
risque.
Tell the man what I'm supposed to do. Say hold that stroke because I got a cough. Now, Zeus. Woo! I ain't able, Zeus. I'm not able right now, Zeus. But listen.
Oh, Lord.
There's a man from Huntsville, Alabama,
Mm.
who was arrested for child trafficking.
Oh.
He was not from the southern border. He was blonde hair and blue-eyed, Zeus. And I'm trying to figure, is he going to be going to El Salvador?
Mm.
So I need somebody to call Kay Ivey
Mm.
and ask her, because not today because, Alabama state offices are closed to celebrate the birthday of the president of the Confederacy, Zeus.
You gotta be kidding me.
I promise you, Alabama state offices are closed today because they're celebrating the birthday of the president of the Confederacy.
Wow.
Now, what sense that makes, Zeus?
Oh, that's a slap in black folks' face, ain't it?
This is the most racist state I've ever seen in my life, Zeus. It's just really ridiculous. And then I wanted to say this, Zeus. We knew Donald Trump was lying when he gave that little statement saying they feel sorry for Joe Biden. Because you turned right around the other day and said you didn't care. You said Joe Biden was a nasty, horrible person, and he's done some horrible things to people. You are the most horrible person we've ever met in our life.
Yep.
But now you want to talk about Joe Biden? What has Joe Biden did to people? Nothing. What have you done to people? We could be here all day and still wouldn't be able to list all the things you've done to people. Donald Trump is a hypocrite with that ugly new toupee that he's finally trying to wear his hair color, I guess, because the dye that he used to wear has run out.
Yeah.
But evil is what evil is. And evil is Donald Trump. Now, you
Amen.
stood up in that office and gave Elon all that credit. Now your advisor saying, you're coming out saying you think Elon duped you with the Doge thing. Because you say he didn't find the money that you needed him to find. You knew that man was playing you like a fiddle when he got in there to try to end his investigation, close his investigations down. That's all he wanted to do. He was not looking for fraud and abuse and waste. He was in there trying to save his own skin. And that's what he did. And he ain't found the dime. The only money he saved was when he fired those people that didn't deserve to be fired.
W, Takesha. But I had the question I wanted to ask you since you brought Elon up, if you don't mind. Let me see if I can get this going. All right, because this is serious. This is serious stuff that we got going on right now, Takesha. This is serious stuff. I wanted to ask you a question about this, if you don't mind. What do you think about that eye right there?
Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah, do you think little X did that to him?
Somebody gave him a knuckle sandwich, and it wasn't little X, baby.
You don't buy his story.
Man, listen. Somebody ran into Elon and tackled him like the water boy mama did on the show when his daddy showed up when him and his wife was in the leave for their honeymoon. You ever seen the water boy, Zeus?
Yeah, I did. I seen the water boy.
You remember that mama ran into the dad at the end like a football player?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Elon.
Wow. So
Good X ain't did that, or Big X did that. He got beat up.
Not little legs, Big X.
Look like somebody gave him a triple decker. And I agree with attacking. He was higher than the cost of living, standing up in that Oval Office, man.
Woo! Hey, you know you gonna go to hell for that, Takesha. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't say that about. I mean, because
he was shaking harder than a roller coaster on Thunder River at Six Flags. Man, he was in there. He wanted it so bad, Zeus. He was just like the song said, got me fiending. He probably saw all that white in Donald Trump head and got excited. All he wanted to do was get him a little book of sugar and a straw. He just wanted to just go crazy now.
Yeah, go crazy.
He probably was saying, I'll be glad when he hurry up so I can run out this office and go get me a hit.
Wow. That's crazy you would say that because, it's something when a grown man says that. I mean, honestly, if I were in his situation, I would never have said my son did this to me. I couldn't put that on him at such a young age.
The only son that did that to him was Donald Trump Jr. when they was fighting over the last little nip, baby.
There you go. Wow. I mean, but this is to me, it's par for the course in terms of this is what MAGA can expect at some point in the relationship with Donald Trump. At a certain point, it's going to end with you having a black eye. Am I right? It's going to end with you having a black eye. You can't make this stuff up.
Zeus, let me tell you about the real MAGA. They wouldn't care if Donald Trump walked up to them, called him a B, punched him in the face, and walked off.
Yeah.
They would swear it was mistaken identity, and they forgive him.
That's sad.
There is no help for real MAGA. They are stuck worse than Gorilla Glue to a piece of paper with a pencil.
Bingo.
They ain't going nowhere, Zeus. It don't matter how much you show them. It don't matter how much you tell them, Zeus. They are dedicated and locked in to this man no matter what.
Yep. And we're going to help them understand that there's consequences for doing that, right? And that's why we have to make sure they know that if they do not wake up, and I know they won't, hell will be their portion. I just don't see how they don't
care nothing about the consequences, Zeus, until they do hit that fire. Then they going to be begging, but it's going to be too late.
Too late. There you go. All right, then.
But that's all I wanted, Zeus.
All righty, then, ladies and gentlemen. Show to Keisha some love. W's in the chat. No lies detected. As you all can see, it's a show of force out here. These folks know that the jig is up. I mean, which one of you Trump supporters want to get canceled next? Because that's what's ultimately going to happen to you. All right, you can't talk about Pete Keg's breath, even though you know he's wrong. All right, or you're going to lose your job. You're not getting those Doge checks. You know, I haven't asked in a while, but has there been any Trump supporter out there that's gotten that $5,000 Doge check just yet? Especially to the blagger? And the answer is no. I already know. And so you have nothing because guess what? You're doing all of this worshiping for Donald Trump, and he never promised you anything. And if he did promise you anything, guess what? He's never going to deliver. All right. And so what we have right now is we've destroyed the blacks for Trump. We've destroyed the Latinos for Trump, and even the people that are on the far right. I even heard today they're souring. You know why they're souring? You know why the people? Oh, because the Epstein files. Remember I played it for you last week? They all thought that they were going to get the Epstein files and find out just how, in the bed the government has been with Epstein. And they're going Cash Patel, Dan Bongino. You lied to us. Yeah. Welcome all of you who are now realizing that the only person Donald Trump really cares about is himself and maybe a couple of his family members and some of his rich friends. If you're not trying to put a private jet in Donald Trump's hands, to hell with you. We knew that. W, Zeus. All right, let's go to the box, ladies and gentlemen. All right, yeah. All right, let's move it along. Okay, who do we have here? Roderick. Good morning. How are you doing? Going once. I'm having a connectivity issue. Roderick, are you there?
Oh, yes, sir, I am.
All right, what brings you to the show?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Is it true that he cut off Job Corps?
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah, the funding. Yeah, and then he put the kids out on the streets. Moms are crying about their daughters and their sons, basically being cut off. What do you think about that?
So, yeah,
what is that?
I was just wondering about it because I heard like a little piece of it, and I just wanted to get some kind of confirmation about that.
What do you think about him doing that? Who did you vote for?
Oh, shoot, I voted for VP Harris.
So real quickly, because I hear some background noise, and I don't want to tie you up. You don't want to tie me up with it. But real quickly, what do you have to say about that, though? Him doing that?
Well, I think that's taking a lot of slack from the children that don't want to go to college. They want to get a trade, and want to go from there. But it's just really sad. I tell you, it's really sad.
It's really sad. All right. Well, listen, Roderick, I want to say thank you. All right, for bringing that up. And what we'll do is we'll keep getting the word out for you. All right, my good friend. There you go. All right, you too. W. Roderick, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. All right, let's bring up Val. Good morning, Val. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. How are you?
Perfect, actually.
Good. You had a great weekend, I suppose, or
had a good
tried
weekend.
to. Good.
Yes, I had a good weekend. Had a good weekend with my kids.
Yeah.
It was good. But I want to bring up some things that were talked about this morning.
Okay.
One, the man sitting on a computer in front of the president's desk that claims 5/16 of 5/16 of it. Is this a damn socket? I've lost something here. I want to find this socket. But the main thing I'm going to tell people about job numbers and wage growth and stuff like that. One, wage growth is done on a year-to-year, calendar year by calendar year basis. Okay, that's how wages are done. Our last report for wages was done in January of 2025, where we had a 4.3%, not a percentage of a percent. Okay, we had a 4.3% wage increase in January of 2025. That would be due to the Biden administration.
All right, got it. So it's not due to Trump's tariffs.
No. As a matter of fact, that would be the exact reverse, right? Trump's tariffs are too limited, but there's also something else. When you talk about jobs and wage growth and everything else that goes along with that, you've got to talk about job loss, job growth. You know what I'm saying? And then wages. Now, here's the thing. If job loss is greater than job growth, even if wages go up what would equal out to about 0.1%.
Yeah.
Based on what he's talking about, that would still be a loss. Okay? Everything has to work in conjunction to be growth.
Right.
And these are the things that that are just absolute craziness. So everybody knows 279,000. I want people to remember that number. That is job loss alone in the federal government.
Wow.
279,000.
And does any of that, would you imagine some of that are Trump supporters, some of those people who lost their jobs?
Absolutely.
Okay,
There's
just
no way
making sure
around
they
that,
understand that. All
There's
right.
no way. Yeah, and speaking of Trump supporters, this is one I wanted to bring up because you brought up Latinos for Trump.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay, you brought up Latinos for Trump. Well, Latinos for Trump, I want you to pay attention to what the Supreme Court just did, because we always attach the Supreme Court with a bit of caution, right? And with the Supreme Court's latest decision to allow the president to remove immigrants with protected status. Okay, I want you to understand this. This is what y'all said. As long as they're doing it the right way, as long as they came here legally, as long as they're following the process. Okay? And then the president said, I'm only getting rid of criminals. Everybody remember that statement?
Right, I did.
Criminals.
I did.
That protected status now affects 500,000 immigrants.
Wow.
Oh, you know what the biggest portion of those immigrants are, Zeus?
His Latino?
That would be Latino Cuban nationals.
And you know they voted Republican.
Right. A little over 200,000. And then the next group would be Haitian immigrants. And the next group, you know what I'm saying? And it goes on down.
Okay, but here's the thing, Val. You got to look at it from their position. Would you rather have a closed border or hang out with Democrats? Which one?
There's no such thing as a closed border based on the laws that we have today. Okay, as much as I'd like to say we could just shut a door and close the border, it's not how the U.S. government works. It doesn't work that way. We have a set of laws. If you want to change that set of laws, it goes through Congress, right? And that's how it does. Writing an executive order doesn't change the law. It only lasts as long as till somebody gets it through courts and then it gets kicked out, which we've seen, I don't know how many times over the course of this presidency, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things. But I want people to remember something. If you think economic measures are bad now, if this man pushes forward to get rid of over 200,000 Cuban immigrants that mainly live, and I want people to understand this, mainly live in the state of Florida, okay? If he makes that push to get that done, you're going to absolutely devastate the economics of Florida instantly. You're going to do the same thing to Ohio. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing to Texas. You're going to do the same thing to California. Okay? I want people to remember this. Those are 3 of the 4 largest economic contributors to this country.
Wow.
And it's not little. It's a lot. Okay?
Does it make America weaker?
Yeah, the rest of the country combined, minus those states I just mentioned, and you take New York out of the picture, cannot recover what was lost just in that matrix alone.
Wow.
These are the things that when he talks about economic numbers, he is telling you things to try to make you feel good about one little portion of an economic number without telling you how much we're losing in the rest of the economic picture.
Wow.
This is a problem with this country, and it all ties together. Don't think immigration doesn't tie to our economy. We're talking about a group of people that put almost $900 billion a year into our economy.
Well, they say, well, aren't you tired of seeing these hospitals being full of people like immigrants, basically depleting the resources of our taxpayers' money?
And that's a big lie too.
You want to flesh that out?
Yeah, the immigrants, when they talked about the Medicaid,
Yeah.
there is one portion of Medicaid that helps hospitals with immigrants in this country. And this is anybody that even comes to our country. Say they come here for vacation and they're in our country, and then something catastrophic happens to them and they go to the hospital. To maintain, we've got you. People need to remember something. Doctors take an oath in this country, and if you don't understand what the Hippocratic Oath is, you might want to go read it. Okay, so what this does, this one, and it's a tiny portion of Medicaid, by the way, is only helps these people in the event of catastrophic injury. Okay. And when I say catastrophic, I mean catastrophic. I mean, these people are either going to get help or they are going to unalive, period.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the only portion of Medicaid that helps immigrants. And that is for a very, very few that are in that condition. That is it.
Yeah.
So everything else that's been told to you is an absolute lie.
Bingo.
Most of Medicaid does not go to help immigrants. Most of Medicaid goes to help single moms, people that have just, that are in between jobs. And the most part of it helps seniors of our country, people that have retired and are working and have done their part for this country. I don't know what about this country that just does not want to let people retire.
I don't either.
I mean, did you wake up every morning of your life to go to work? Or should we wake up every morning to do the work we need so we can then relax at a later date?
Yeah. I'm with you.
That is, what country do you want? Do you want the country that puts an 80-year-old in a factory?
I don't.
Is that the country you want? Is that what you want to see? Do you want to go to your mom and dad that retired years ago on Social Security and tell them you're going to have to go back to work? Is that the country you want?
No, conservative Democrat says no, and that's why he voted for Trump. And it's that mentality, right, that's going to have him in a world of hurt, right? He still believes all 30,000 of Trump's lies.
They can. You know what, the conservative Democrat, you can believe whatever the hell you want. We don't care. The reality of people like you that throw out talking points that come out of the president's mouth that aren't true to begin with, the reality of people like you is you're lost. You haven't read a thing. You haven't put a single bit of education to yourself. And the worst part about it is, sir, is you will claim religion as the excuse.
He sure will. I can tell because he's walking blind, and it's not even like it's hope. It's like, these are people that genuinely hate America. These are some of the most un-American, unpatriotic people I've ever seen. This big, beautiful bill. I just got to ask the question because I ran into one of the bears, and they said that they are for less government. Does the big, beautiful bill, in your opinion, show that is it upholding less government, or does it seem
absolutely like it's not? I mean, anybody that could look at that bill and claim less government has lost their mind.
W, Val.
Okay. This is a bill to give a individual portion of government more power to actually break the co-equal three branches of government. It is an absolute attack on the Constitution of the United States. It shouldn't hold any weight in any law in this country. and the effects on the people, like what was just talked about a minute ago. Job
Yeah.
Corps. Job Corps. Job Corps was created to get young people experience they needed to get into job markets.
Yeah.
Okay? That is what Job Corps was for. Okay? And you want to go after something that has done more good for this country over decades.
Wow.
Decades.
Dame, are you
Job
listening,
Corps
Dame?
staff.
I saw you right in there, 32%, which I don't think that number is accurate. And he seems to think that if he suggests that the 32% graduation, I think it's 38%, that means it's a bad program. What a shame.
No, sir.
It's not, there are a lot of people who actually have contributed to this country who went through programs like that. I would like to know, Dame, what the percentage is behind the ones that are that are actually doing things that are helping this great country of ours. But you wouldn't bring that up here because it would totally annihilate your position.
And I want to know where he comes up with the fact that Job Corps is a graduate program of some sort.
Well, this is what it is. They just look for any reason to believe Donald Trump. I mean, and it's quite sad because if he looked at it, at least using his math from the other angle, he should say that means 1 in 3, people who genuinely don't usually have a good chance of succeeding, 1 in 3 get a chance to succeed. That's how he should look at that. And that's better than basically dooming everyone to fail, isn't it? That's success, right?
Right, that's success.
Yeah, but
And this is what we've said from the very beginning. Their goal is to keep the American public stupid.
So they can manipulate them.
So they can manipulate
The dingo
okay?
Val, you are. That's what it is.
I mean, that is the absolute goal. Because as long as you can keep the American public stupid and make them believe in dog whistles, this is what we have. And Dane, in case you don't understand the term dog whistle,
go ahead.
That means you can't hear it, sir.
Oh,
because it doesn't exist.
Hit him with it, Val. All right, brother. I appreciate you coming on up. I hope Dame requests, and hopefully he wants to come up here and clear this air. And if he does, I'll have to bring you back up, all right? Because I don't want Dame running around here continuing to push misinformation and disinformation without at least hearing the truth. Because, I firmly believe when these people go and meet their maker, the good Lord is going to play back what you said, Val, and say, Dame, you knew. And then, he's going to say, bend the knee and go straight to hell.
Here's the thing. And to people like Dane and CD down there and TTTT that keep making comments out there, I want you to remember something. Here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. I don't hate you.
No.
I don't know you. Okay, I don't know you to hate you.
No.
I don't like your politics.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't mean that I should hate you.
Yeah.
That's the difference between
love the person, hate the
Democrats-
sin.
Exactly.
Bingo. That's all. And we can hate the sin as long as we want to, because we're not required to love the sin at all.
No, not by any means. We're not required. We're not required to love the sin. We're not required to keep. We're just required to help our fellow human.
Thank you.
If you want to talk religion, that's what you need to know.
Thank you. Bingo. All right, brother. It was
All right,
nice checking in with you. W Val in the chat. No lies detected, as you can see. It doesn't take long to debunk these Trump supporters. They just got to be willing to listen. Oh, yeah. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Oh, who do we got? Z Loin. Good morning. How are you? Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter and you want to come up here. Z Loin, good morning. How are you? Going once. Going twice. Sold. Z Loin 83. All right. What I'll do is this. This is a crowd regular. What do you want?
What's going on, Zeus?
What's going on? What do you want?
Oh, I just want to say hello to your cult members and to the cult leader, Zeus. I just want to say, hey, what's up?
Okay, so nothing new. All right, fair enough. 80 good. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tiny Tank Top Tim, who volunteered to be sent straight to hell because, we needed to throw somebody in there. And so, ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending the biggest loser on TikTok. He's the first one in here every morning. Can I get in there and just kiss your feet, Zeus, and kiss all the guests you bring up? I want to kiss their feet. All right, and then do what you did to me last time. What is that? Send me straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W, Zeus. Would you all say that's like one of my world records, the fastest I've ever done sent a MAGA demon straight to hell? I heard all of his lies in like 5, maybe 2 seconds. I heard all of his lies, and I knew judgment needed to happen. I was hoping he got up here and said, Zeus, I apologize, because I'll always have room for that, Tiny Tank Top Tim. If you're not coming up here to apologize, champ, do us all a huge favor and just relax, all right? I mean, you really should be thrilled, kind of, because I could allow these moderators to do a huge number on you, all right? But, I let you in here because, like I said, there's not going to be any excuse when you don't meet your maker. But you really, sir, I don't know what you are, but you really need to zip it, all right? And just continue to let Zeus cook that MAGA demon. Oh, Spider Monkey is back. Good morning, Spider Monkey. You're back.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What brings you to the show?
Hey, I wanted to touch up on that topic earlier about Latinos for Trump.
Okay.
And I live here in the beautiful Miami, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also working for the county of Dade.
Okay.
And during Trump's campaign, when he was running for president, actually both times,
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing all of the Latinos, mainly Cubans,
Mm-hmm.
having parades, singing songs, actually even shutting down streets and roads and highways.
Yeah.
Just to praise this man because they wanted one thing, and the only thing that I could hear was because he's getting rid of all the immigrants.
Yeah.
And little did they know that he meant them as well. Because now I'm driving around all Dade County, and now the singing has stopped.
Oh, no more will vote for Donald Trump, none of that?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm seeing videos of crying and saying, I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Why is my brother, my sister, or my husband, why does he have to go back, or why is he being forced back? And I voted for this man. So now I'm hearing a lot of boo-hoos and crying. I don't feel bad for them.
You don't?
I do not. Because they were so blinded by the lies, and they were just covered with hate that they wanted these, mainly Mexicans, Guatemalans, Salvadoreños, because I'm Mexican myself. I was born and raised here in South Dade.
Okay.
And I'm both fluent in both English and Spanish.
Okay.
And I heard it all.
Yeah.
And I've heard some really nasty things in Spanish, thinking, because I'm Spanish, I will be able to accept what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
what were they saying though amongst themselves, if you don't mind? Because I've ran into a lot of nasty people who are Latinos for Trump on this app, and I think, are you just acting on TikTok, or do you really believe this stuff?
No, I actually saw and heard these things, and I'm all over Dade County.
Yeah.
So, and I meet up with a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I'm going to these places where, they love to hang those flags and have little groups with themselves about why they want Trump to be president. And mainly was because, they cried about how the Mexicans were taking their jobs, and and all these other immigrants from other places that were taking their jobs and using up their government
benefits,
programs or whatnot.
Yeah, the benefits.
Exactly.
They're getting a free ride here while we're out here. We can't get the jobs, and we can't get a free ride, so they're the problem.
And you know, a lot of these Cubans, they come over to Miami, to Florida, or to the United States, and you know, to seek asylum.
Yeah.
The following year or the next couple of years, they go vacationing back to Cuba, taking back all of the money that they've accumulated through the benefits or whatnot, you know, back to Cuba after, you know, saying, oh, you know, we're seeking asylum, we're, you know, running from you know, everything that's going on in
Yeah.
Cuba. But
Yeah.
you know, they want a vacation over the next week, the next month, the next year actually. So it was just a lot of, you know, craziness going on through his campaign. I didn't like seeing it. You know, I wasn't understanding why they were following this man when, you know, he was just bluntly just lying about everything that he was going to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, now I'm hearing a lot of, and actually I'm seeing a lot of videos as well.
They're crying.
Crying, and they're upset that, you know, I voted for this man and now my family member has to go back.
They didn't think that it was going to hit home, and now it's starting to hit home. And they can't come back out here and talk to like someone like myself, because you know what I'm going to do. We're gonna make sure they face judgment. But you know what I also think it was? I honestly think that some of these people actually think that they're better than myself. They think they're better and smarter than Big Zeus, right? And not just me, but a lot of people that are in the Democrat Party that have known. And Donald Trump tapped into that mentality, and they allowed themselves to think that at some point their relationship with Donald Trump was going to result in them being, you know, the golden children of the United States. And now they're finding out that'll never happen, and they can't do anything. Because I would imagine if I were in these people's families, I would never forgive them. If my uncle, my cousin, or my brother voted for Donald Trump, and then I ended up, you know, experiencing what he's doing, I would never forgive them.
They're learning the hard way.
Thank you.
And it's probably, I mean, it's terrible that they have to go back and start all over again. But you know, it was their own doing.
Yeah.
It was something that they could have, you know, did some research, looked more into it, but they were lied to, and they bought everything that he was selling.
Yeah.
Without even looking into it, and now they're learning the hard way.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's going to be a rough 4 years for them if we can get that far. And I do hope that, like you said, they do try to figure this out and get on the right side of history before it's too late. But Spider Monkey, there's a lot of noise in the background, brother, and I'm assuming you're out and about. No, you can't control it, but I did want to hear from you. I did.
Thank you.
All right. And in the meantime,
I just wanted to get that out there because, you know, everything that I saw during his campaign, I was like, man, they just have no idea on what's to come. And I saw this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now he wants to, and now he might even pardon Diddy, even though Diddy did it.
Yeah, and
crazy.
they were all, and all his supporters were always, Obama and Diddy, but they've gone radio silent ever since Trump basically said, hey, Diddy, if you got enough money, I'll take care of it. I don't care. That's what it is. Yeah, thank you. All right.
It's about the money. Well, thank you, Zeus. I know you're busy.
All right, we're all busy.
Listening. Yeah,
we're all busy. Thank you. All right, W Spider Monkey, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. Wow. Look at all of this. Who do we have next? Who do we have? King Scorpio. Good morning. How are you doing?
Morning, Zeus.
Good morning. How are you doing? What brings you to the show, champ?
Man. No, I was just stopping by, bro, because I'm out here in Miami, bro. And I'm telling you, man, these Cubans out here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. They don't like us one bit, bro.
Wait.
They don't like us, bro.
When you say they don't like us, you're saying Cubans don't like black people?
No, sir. No, sir, they don't. Out here, they'll go as far as to not speak no English, to not help you at all. I went on a street a couple of weeks ago and stopped to ask direction, and they act like they knew nothing about English, bro. Nothing. They don't want us. And the thing is, they know it. They talk about they was running away from a dictator when they left Cuba.
Yeah.
But they actually voted for one.
Now that part, if that's what you now that part, it makes me really think because I understand that's the narrative. I've argued with people on this app. I left Cuba because they were a communist country and this and that. And then they turn around and they are literally openly advocating for Donald Trump, who said he'd be a dictator for just for a day. And they turned around and they said, I'm going to vote for this guy. And I sat there and I'm thinking to myself, because you can't argue with him, but you're going, you don't even see it. They don't even see it.
Exactly. Vote against their own interests, man. Because in South Florida, they do act as if they're pure white, blonde hair, blue eye.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to be a part of this whole situation, with DeSantis and Trump.
So you think that's why they supported, that's why they voted for Donald Trump, even though they heard him saying we're going to deport people, this and that. Do you really think that they thought they wouldn't be included in that?
They thought they weren't included, man. They thought they were milk and magnesia, man. Why would they? How? I mean, I don't think you could answer it, but I'm just going along with it. Why would they think that? Because bro, I really couldn't answer the question either, man, because I'm looking at them like you're not going to be accepted no matter what decision you make right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you made a decision against, the majority of people that's immigrant here. You're an immigrant, but you don't want immigrants here. Even though you came over here not by a plane, you came by a raft floating in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And you were here in this country to seek asylum, and now you got it, and you thought that, you was so happened to be a part of America now because you've been here for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought people forgot about him.
Well, there's a guy in my audience, Alter Ego. He's not buying what you're selling. He thinks that you're just, what they call race baiting. And
Race baiting?
yeah, and they use that term quite a bit on the right, but we know it's them. But they're the ones that actually race bait. But what would you say to somebody like Alter Ego, who clearly he sees it the way that you and I just described it? There's no excuse for voting for Donald Trump if you really are escaping a communist dictator. There's no excuse for you to go and vote for a dictator.
Never.
Yeah.
Ever. Anybody that's running away from, that type of lifestyle or, whatever was happening in the country, you ran away from it.
Yeah.
You come here, you want to, do different.
Yeah.
If you see something that's, leading into that direction, you got to speak against it, you know what I mean? Or vote against it, which they didn't. They claim that they don't like dictators, but they do. You know what I mean? They do. They don't. They know better than what they were running away from. Man, they ran away from something that they just because they didn't have their way to enslave the darker skinned ones that was there in Cuba. So they ran away from that and think, okay, I'll come to America now. I get to mix in with the blonde hair, blue eye.
Got it.
We're going to be able to still continue with our, racist behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all they're racist, man. I'm telling you, a lot of them are. I'm not saying.
And there you go. Not all of them, but you're saying that there's a good chance the people that did this were racist. That's why they ultimately said, I can't bring myself to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Because if they, you'll say, oh, you're racist, and they'll say no, and then you'll go, okay, so is she black? Then they'll have questions. Well, she might not be black. How is she black? Right? But then there you go. King Scorpio. Yeah. On one minute she's not black, right? But then on the other side, I gotta vote for Donald Trump because I don't want a black woman to be vice president. It's the most mind blowing thing they do. But we're gonna continue to expose these liars and these hypocrites. All right, King Scorpio. All right.
Love your program, man.
Hey,
Appreciate everything you're doing out here, brother.
All right, I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. W. King Scorpio. No lies detected. Well, and listen, Alter Ego, it's nice. I'm assuming you said that you're a Mexican and you voted for Kamala Harris, and I'm assuming that's what you meant, Alter Ego. And you know what? W for that. I'll give you that. I don't know why you voted for Kamala Harris, but then you spend a lot of your time on the show bashing the Democrats. I don't know why you do that. Could you clarify why would people who support Kamala Harris come onto a platform like this and have anything negative really to say about the Democrat Party? We don't need more division. No, we need more precision. Zeus. Yeah. All righty then. All right. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we'll try to get. Let's see. Who do we have? Silver for Life. Welcome. How are you?
Hey, buddy, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing all right, and you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And I'm torn, Zeus, because I feel bad for the kids, but I don't feel bad for their parents. They, like you always say, they voted for this, and this is what they wanted. And when I heard that song, it really physically made me sick to my stomach.
Which one? We will vote for Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
they were shaking the maracas and stuff like that. Yeah, the tambourines were going, the horns were blasting.
Oh, Zeus, that should be part of your theme song every day, man, for 4 years. Because I can't forgive them for what they did. You voted for a con man. You know something? So a felon. So what about the guys that go jobs now? They can't get jobs because they're felons, right?
Yeah.
This guy got a job. In fact, he got the best job on the planet. I mean, so, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you do
Thank
every day. Because, Doc, and I know some days, I know you don't drink, probably.
I
And
don't
if you
drink.
do, I don't blame you.
I don't drink. No. But you can do whatever you want. I don't judge people because, I used to be a rock star, to be quite honest. But no, there's too much on the line for me to be able to do that and get up here and do a show like this. But don't, just you take care of yourself. Don't you do too much out there.
And guess what, Zeus? I can't drink because I got to know who I'm dealing with, okay?
Amen.
For you and your mama, man, who's watching this or whatever, God bless y'all both, man, all right?
All right. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Silver for Life, getting up here telling the truth. Yeah. So I always said, the best place for alcohol where it's in a bottle, all right? Have you ever seen a bottle drunk, ladies and gentlemen? I've never seen a bottle drunk, but I see a lot of these MAGA demons out here getting drunk, all right? No matter how much alcohol you put in a bottle, I've never seen a bottle drunk, but I've seen a lot of people drunk. So I say, obviously, you could do the math. It's no good. But if you do it in moderation, all right? I'm not here to judge people. But and again, I've done it before, so, we can get into that if we need to, but no need to. Do we have any more Trump supporters out there that are willing to actually admit that they've made a mistake? Rick. Rockstar Zeus, yeah. So as you all can see, the MAGA demons have been basically annihilated this morning, and now we're just rounding the corner, and they know it. Nutty, welcome. How are you doing, champ?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Just enjoying I'm enjoying a little bit of this reprieve a little bit. It just seems like the energy is no longer there when it comes to supporting Donald Trump.
It's there. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for the next clickbait. They're just waiting. It's there.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say something very quickly because way back when Attacking was on the show, he talked about Melania. So Attacking, stop yucking somebody's yum.
Thank you.
Stop yucking their yum. She did something strange for a piece of change. I ain't mad at that.
I've never watched it. All right, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I've never seen it
either, but I don't care to see it, especially her, because I don't think she's attractive at all. But whatever, that's again, I'm not gonna yuck yo yum.
Yeah, that's. So, I get it. Yeah.
So, but before I really go into this, I want to talk to the kingdom. The kingdom, y'all disappointed me on Friday.
Why?
See, on Thursday, we got Zeus to 1 million. Friday, we didn't even get to 500,000. We're way behind today. We got 1.3 people in here, 1.3K people in here. Y'all, please tap that screen, hit that gifting goal up there, please, and thank you. This is what I want to see on a consistent basis. The reason why I get up in here and hype these likes is because it keeps pushing you on the FYP. The more likes you get, Zeus, the better chance you are going to have not to get clapped.
Oh, really?
the better chance you have not to get clapped. Because you can't control what people say on your live.
No.
You can't control what they say on your live. But you do a fabulous job trying to contain and trying to listen intently to see if their topic of conversation is going down that way. 'Cause
Yeah.
you got your finger on the button right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just might go nutty on it.
And if you do, you gotta go. Yeah.
That's my point. He does that, including mutuals as well. So y'all keep hitting that button. Let's get up. I want to see minimum 500,000 every single time this man logs on. Now to Dame. Dame, I gave you credit last week. Sir, I'm going to pull that credit back because it's one thing to allow opposition, true opposition, into your lives. It's another thing to keep muting them. It's another thing to allow your moderators to keep muting and dropping. You need to control your moderators. Now, Zeus has moderators in this room.
Yeah.
If they don't do what he wants them to do, guess what happens? He simply removes them as a moderator. If they cannot run his show the way he wants it to be ran, you're not going to get to be a moderator.
W. Kabira.
So, with that being said, Dane, I need you to control your puppets. Control them. See, because here's what Zeus, you taught me this. I don't have a problem telling the kingdom when I learn something from you. I learn from you every day, sir.
What did you learn? That's amazing.
You taught me something several years ago.
Oh, I did.
Because I said something to you. We were on the phone. I said something to you about muting and blocking people who were giving coins to opposition that were speaking nastiness. And you're like, I'm not going to tell all the context of our conversation, but she's like, oh no, because that affects me too.
Yeah.
So, I get it, Dane. I get it. You are a grifter in chief, like Donald. You're trying to be like the Don. But sir, you don't have the complexion for the protection. You'll never be like Don.
W. Nutty.
You'll never be like Don. And unfortunately, we have to deal with the coonery of it all.
Did you use that word?
I used it. I said it flat-footed coonery.
Oh,
flat-footed.
Flat-footed. Yeah, like a primate.
So, Dane, I do see change. I do see it.
Good.
And I want to continue grasping at that change because I don't think you are a lost cause. I think you're just doing this for the coins.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Dame is doing it for the coins. I don't think Dame is. I don't think he's completely lost. I'm feeling the brother. I don't think he's completely lost. Now, Dame, if you need a couple bucks, just holler at your brother. See, I will share with someone who's trying to learn. I will share.
Fair enough.
But MAGA, do better. And Kingdom, please tap that screen. Let's get this man to at least 500,000 every single time he logs on. We have to protect the kingdom because we are protectors of truth.
Amen.
That's what the kingdom is all about. Protection, the protectors of truth. And if we're going to tell the truth, we're going to shame the devil.
Amen.
And we're going to keep him mad. Thank you for your time.
Amen. That's what as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we try to break through and get as much ground when we are in these other places as necessary because, again, you can spot some people out here that you can just say, you know what, they are just misguided, but they can actually be rehabilitated. But then others, you got to send them straight to hell. So, yeah, W. Nutty. Good morning, Maribel. Good morning. Nice to see you. Welcome. How are you?
I am well. Let me just run into my office because it's nice and quiet in here.
Fair enough.
Zeus, the most handsome. I'm always going to say that, even if it upsets me.
Thank you. You're going to get a lot far in the kingdom with that attitude, to be quite honest, because, a lot of people don't want to tell the truth like that, but that's amazing. You can do it.
No lies detected here in the kingdom.
Thank you. Thank you. How have you been? I hope you had a great weekend, by the way.
It was a difficult weekend. Unfortunately, one of our oldsters, a dog that I gave to my mom, one of our Yorkies, she had to
Mhm.
go to heaven yesterday,
Oh
last night.
no. Oh
So,
no.
yeah, it was a pretty difficult weekend, but I think we're all in peace here
Yeah.
now because you have to ask yourself at some point when it comes to pets,
Yeah.
well, are you going to keep them around suffering for your own selfish needs, or are you just going to let go and let
Well,
God? And that's it.
there you go. Well, we're sending lots and lots of love to you, all right? I mean, it's always difficult when things like that happen.
Agree, agree. And thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
to you and thank you to the kingdom. Whew, she lived a good life, 14 years, Miss
Wow.
Princess.
Wow, yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful life. I mean, I hope you gave her all she wanted while she was around all the dog treats that they like, because
Oh, yes.
that's what it's
Yeah.
about. That's what it's about. As long as you do that, they're in good shape as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't know if you got a chance to hear, just to reiterate things that Val was talking about earlier with Medicaid and senior citizens. You know that I work in the healthcare industry
Right.
and I do take care of my patients to the best that I can. I actually spoke to a patient not too long ago
Mm-hmm.
who was 105 years old.
Yeah, wow.
That was insane.
That's 105. That's wow.
And he sounded great. He had all his faculties in order for
Yeah.
105. And you think about what he's seen over the course of history, and to be alive in this day and age and see more insanity
Yeah.
prevailing. It's like
Wow.
we should not be seeing that. I had an 85-year-old patient call. She was trying to make an appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and she was making an appointment around her Costco work schedule.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. When she said that, she
What
goes,
does
then I have to take vacation. And I'm saying to myself, how come you're not retired? Because clearly the lady is not making enough money to live on whatever benefits she has to still work at Costco. Now, I could be wrong. Okay, maybe she
Yeah.
does want to work. Maybe she is making that choice to work. There are some people who love working,
Right.
regardless of what age they are. But we should not be a country where we start taking away things because the government or the administration that we have now regime is thinking that we are giving handouts,
Yeah.
or that there are people coming into this country and they are gaining all of these benefits, when
Yeah.
none of that is true. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what this bill is doing, and this is what I talked about on Angie's Live. There are people who are opting out of necessary referral appointments because it has become too expensive for them.
Wow.
So if they're having issues with their blood,
Yeah.
if there's a detection of any types of cancer and the copay is too high, they're like, can't do it. So I'm going to have to cancel that referral appointment. There was a woman who called, medication that she's on, both medications combined went up to $850.
What?
This is not medication that she.
Trump said it's going to go down 80%.
It's not going down. It's not. Copays have not gone down at all. And these are people who have
Yeah, I thought
insurance.
yeah. I'm thinking he fixed all of this. He said wages are all up. I mean, and
Nope.
what you wow.
Nope, nothing is up. Be quiet, conservative Democrat. I work in the healthcare industry. I don't need to provide you proof.
Thank you.
You work where I work, you will hear the proof. If
Thank
not, then be quiet. Because you serve no purpose right now in anything that you're saying, telling people to leave.
Yeah. How dare you minimize her contributions on this platform, conservative D. You're a disgrace. You ought to be
Listening to
ashamed of yourself.
exactly listening to people who are living with dementia, staying on the phone with them. What is your date of birth? They can't remember their date of birth. They can't remember sometimes why they are calling. I see it with that person in the White House. It's happening. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Wow. So none of the relief that he's promised us in terms of our medical costs is really actually happening. It's quite the opposite. And this,
Yeah.
and in terms of the proof, yeah, we don't need to go get a screenshot. You can just listen to the stories that we're telling you that are happening to us. What kind of world are we living in now where you think people would get up here and just make up excuses like this?
I have no reason to lie. There are times that I have to take a break and cry because these patients hurt my heart. Because I wonder, are they going to get their medication? Are they going to be okay? I forget that lady's name who said, at some point you're going to unalive. How dare you? Please tell that to
Joni Ernst, yeah, she did a
Yeah.
nasty thing this weekend.
Who's trying to book an appointment and you're telling them forget about the appointment, just go and unalive because it's going to happen eventually.
As she
How
walks through a
dare you?
cemetery.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How disrespectful are you to talk to people like that, your own constituents that voted for you, that are relying for you to be their voice? How dare you? What have we become as a society? I will never understand. I was on a live last night
Yeah.
and there were two supporters in there. The diabolical the things that was coming out of their mouth, and they're grifters and they're trying to convince us
Yeah.
everything that Trump is doing is absolutely normal. There was even a woman that came up. He's doing everything that I want him to do. Really? Well, how is that going to affect you eventually as a woman who now has choices taken away as a result of that? Why is that okay?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they hate themselves. These people, I promise you, they wake up and they look in the mirror and they say, not only do I hate myself, but I hate my country. And these, I'm talking about Trump supporters. That's all they do. They don't have an ounce of love. And an ounce isn't even a lot when you compare it to a quart or a gallon. These people don't even have a teaspoon. They don't have an ounce of love in their hearts at all. And it's all over the country right now. It's spreading, as far as I'm concerned. This is why I say we're facing judgment as a nation to a certain degree, because you just can't have this many wicked people in here without bad things happening. You're going to start seeing, I think we're in a lot of trouble. Hurricane season, tornado season, this summer, we're in a lot of trouble.
Let me just explain to you. The clinic that I work for is a specialty clinic for senior citizens. There are some clinics that only have 2 doctors. There are some clinics that only have a doctor and a nurse practitioner. There's not enough doctors for the patients in their area to see all of them. We're talking about if people are doing a 3-month follow-up visit and their follow-up visit is in June and they're calling in May to make a June appointment, there aren't appointments until July or August.
Wow.
Some people don't want to wait that long because they don't know if they will still have insurance when all is said and done.
And tomorrow is not promised, right? And so think about telling somebody that, and especially in the rural parts of the country, hey, there's not enough doctors. And then on top of that, Donald Trump and his administration, Gregory Jones, said it has nothing to do with Trump. Gregory, it does. He's going after these universities. He's cutting the programming and calling you waste, fraud, and abuse. It has everything to do with your dear leader. Doctors don't even want to be in the United States anymore because
just like in that comment, they're leaving to Canada.
Yeah.
If they're getting a better deal in another country, they're gone.
Yeah. We've already proved it. Look at the way this country is being ran, conservative D. Look at the way that this country is ran. We're going straight to hell. Well, you are. You and Tiny Tank Top 10 might as well have tea and crumpets there.
I just don't understand what is going on, and it's frightening. And then going back to the Latinos for Trump. That song is too much.
They know it. They messed up.
They do not understand the levels of the chaos that they created that I have to tell my parents when they go out, do not speak Spanish. Do not. I have to carry my passport, my birth certificate, my my voter's card,
Wow.
my driver's. Why am I carrying all that for? I am an American born citizen. Just in case people didn't know that Puerto Rico is the Commonwealth of the United States. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. And a lot of people still don't know that. Where is your education? What are you learning? I was telling my neighbor last night, I have learned more about Black history. Thank you to the Black creators on this app who have showed me and taught me so much about Black history that you can find out there in schooling.
Robbing us. Yeah. They want you to believe that, as far as they're concerned, there is nothing bad about the American history when it comes to the way that people of color have been treated, and women especially. They don't want you to know that for some strange reason.
And check it out, Tiny Tim Talk Tim, or whatever he calls himself. He says that he has a 12-step program. My friend, I'm coming up on 34 years clean and sober, June 16th, not 34 felonies.
Ooh.
34 years. So you take that and put it up where the sun doesn't shine, okay?
Thank you. All right. Well, listen, Maribel, thank you so much. But Big Zeus has to get up out of here.
I know, I gotta go to work too.
Congrats as well, staying sober.
Thank you, y'all.
All right.
Thank you, Zeus.
You're welcome. No lies detected. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Big Zeus does have to get up out of here. We had a nice little intimate, quiet show, and we basically let all the Trump supporters to know that, it's only going to get worse for you. And at this point, I'm monitoring it to make sure that each and every single one of you at the end of the day eat your words, all right? Because you've made a terrible decision supporting Donald Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris. Look at what's going on right now and ask yourself, are you happy with what you have? What are you happy about that Donald Trump has honestly delivered on? He's riding around in a $400 million jet, all right? He's making all kinds of money off of his crypto schemes. He's taking away your Medicaid, your Medicare. Oh my gosh, he's adding DMV fees now. When you register your vehicle, you got to give the federal government more money. Go look at it. It's in the big beautiful bill supposedly. I'm like, wait a second. I know the state wanted money to register the vehicle, but now you want the federal government to get some money too? And they're giving the president all kinds of powers in that big beautiful bill to make it difficult to actually sue the Trump administration. So only the people that got money can sue the Trump administration because they know they're going to be breaking the laws. This is some sick stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? You have no one else to blame, MAGA, but yourselves, all right? And so again, W. Zeus, another day of just totally destroying these Trump supporters and their hopes and their dreams, all right, by giving them nothing but the truth, all right? But I also want to give a shout out to all of you in the audience, especially the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. You've done an outstanding job, honestly, standing up to these fascists. This is a fascism, right? What Donald Trump and his legion of MAGA demons are doing, it's fascism at its finest, all right? But they don't like that we're doing it, but the signs are actually starting to actually go in our favor. You see Elon, he's bowing out of Doge. He's quietly protesting what Donald Trump is doing. Some of these rulings, the tariffs, those tariffs aren't going to be legal. And once they find out that Donald Trump does not have all this unlimited power to create these tariffs on these other countries, it's just going to be another W for the Democrats. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know exactly who this goes out to. It goes out to all the Zeus haters out there. These are not just my haters. These are also your haters. Oh my God. Wow, Kabira, wow! 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 W Kabira's in the chat. Wow, did you see Zeus just come up out of the sky like that? I just can't believe it. Wow, what a great way to wrap things up. My Lord, that was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we also got to do? We got to give one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame to the Zeus haters out there, all right? W, Kabira. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, you know they're going to get jealous when that happens, but you know it's a good thing that we get them to do that. But we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure you take care and you stay safe out here in these TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We are honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Take care. What a show! I love you all. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, they don't like that. They don't like that. Oh my God. Oh, you know what they're saying right now? They're going, oh, he's getting paid by the DNC. Right, Redhead? Oh, they called me a grifter too. Can you believe this place? But meanwhile, Donald Trump is robbing them blind, but I'm the problem on TikTok. You're the problem on TikTok to these people. Hey, Tiny TikTok Tom. Alter Ego, I'm glad you confirmed that you voted for Vice President Kamala Harris. Now we just need you to act like it, right? Am I right, Q-Dog? We just need him to act like he voted for Kamala Harris, all right? And you don't got to try to beat up on my panelists, all right? At least I have a job. It's obvious, yeah. My hands are always on some work. And if they knew me, they would know that. And not just me, all of you. Conservative, I know you'll never regret your vote, but when it actually comes crashing down on you, I want you to just suffer. Yeah, okay, yeah. Hold on to that vote while you're suffering. All right, let's get some drill, baby, drill, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes. Ow, you see what I just did? Cubans, wake up, yeah.
Kamala Harris's war.
Hey, Tiny TikTok Tom.
Because you know she's gonna ban.
You know what's so funny, Tiny TikTok Tom, is you're still doing what you were doing when I first ran into you.
Against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, "I like fracking very much."
There you go.
They always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill.
Let's go.
We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep.
You ever done that, Tiny TikTok Tom? You ever drilled deep before in your life?
We're going to pay down our debt.
I'm going
We're
to
going to lower your taxes. Insane asylum.
There it goes.
You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack, drill, there's a black, frack. Say, baby, there's a lots of big energy. Because you know she's gonna bang.
You know she's gonna bang it.
Right? Up in there, she was against fracking, against all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the time about a year to
Let's go. She said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. Am I right? She can't help it. She's a radical. She can't help it. And we're gonna end that. And we will and drill, baby, drill.
We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna be drilling so deep.
You know what we do over here, ladies and gentlemen? It's undeniable. Craig, you want me to lower your taxes? We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say, you want cheap eggs? You want cheap gas? You want cheap insurance? All right, I got it all for you, all right? All you got to do is believe everything that I say. And, you know, do what he does, right? Just make it up as you go. Uh-oh.
You know, they go crazy when I say...
What do they say?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
That part.
Okay, they say, Why would he mention Hannibal Lecter?
Why?
We're going to pay down.
What are we gonna do?
We're going to lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal. Drill, 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 baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, we go, drill, we go.
Lower your taxes.
Deep insane asylums.
Let's go.
You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal.
Happy Monday.
We're gonna be drill ready. Drill, we go, we're gonna take out Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late. Oh, you made me look like that, Heavens. How much do you owe on your house? Don't worry, we're gonna pay off all your debt. And then what we're gonna do is lower your taxes. All right? Because you know what? We have so much liquid gold underneath our feet. And all we gotta do is drill, baby. Drill to get to it. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of fracking, all right? Because you know what? W Zeus in the chat, all right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe out there in the TikTok streets. I'll see you tomorrow.